Good morning, 9 o'clock straight up, and I am actually showing my monitor 1 because since it shows the seconds, you can see that when I came live, it just hit right at 900:00 seconds. And in order to do that, I actually clicked to start the stream 5 seconds early. And now it's finally visible here. I've got the internal audio muted so I can unmute this. I'll hear in my ear, but you won't hear it. And I am really liking this seconds on the Windows 11 clock. Now, a little bit more about that conversation yesterday. Somebody said, well, why not just click on the clock and you can see the seconds? Not true with Windows 11. That's exactly what I was doing with Windows 10. Windows 10, I was not displaying seconds on the clock in the bottom right corner, but I would click on the clock. It would show me an analog clock and I could see the seconds ticking away. Windows 11 does not do that. There is no clock available that I can see, and even when I would click on this, it wouldn't even give me the calendar. I was wanting the calendar, but the default is it looks like this. So I click on the clock in the bottom right corner without showing the seconds. Oops, I got to turn off my picture-in-picture. This is all I would see. And I was just, that's one of the things I was frustrated with Windows 11. I click on the time and the date, and it shows me this. That wasn't good, but I can see the calendar by going to here. Took me actually a little while to find that, but there is no clock. Maybe there's a way to turn the clock on, but I'm happy with showing the seconds here. All right, enough of that rant. Move on, Doug. Move on. We're not interested in that. Let's see how chat is going. Nobody's telling me of a problem, so I'll come in here to the first email, which comes from Steve Dodd. Now, I'm not going to show his name at the top here because that'll reveal his email address. And I've heard communications from him before through comments. I think this was his first email. Says, hello, Doug. I wanted to tell you about my Intel NUC 11PA-HI7 mini PC issue purchased November 1, 2022. It is a bare bones system that I added 64 gigabytes of RAM, Samsung 980 Pro, 2 terabyte NVMe 4 SSD, and Windows 10 Pro. Monday, August 14th, 2003, that's a long time ago, okay? Obviously, he means 2023. My NUC stopped running. So August 14th, that was, what was that, 10 months after he bought it? September, October, November, 9 months after he bought it. Symptoms background. It stopped running. It would not reboot. Symptoms background. NUC runs 24/7 except for updates and storms. Storms? Streams? Except for, storms, thunderstorms. He shuts it down, which I shut down before power failure around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So he's the Eastern Daylight Time. That's probably where he lives. The PC powered off and would not reboot after several attempts. It sounds to me like this might be a media server. So he probably was not working on it actively at the keyboard and mouse. It just powered off around that time. Would not reboot. Diagnosis. I unplugged the power brick from the PC and the surge suppressor and plugged it back in. The power LED lit up, but after pressing it, did not boot after several minutes. I checked the monitor connections and power, which were fine. I also connected my laptop to this monitor and it displayed the laptop window screen. So his monitor is okay. I connected the NUC to the external monitor for the laptop, and the NUC did not boot up. So he has two external monitors here. He's tried both of them, still couldn't get the NUC to boot up, even after several minutes. At this point, I knew that both monitors were working. I opened up the NUC and removed the 64 gigabytes RAM, put it back in, as well as the NVMe SSD. The NUC did not boot. I contacted Intel support after going through the same steps as 1 through 4 with Intel support. They determined that the NUC was faulty and replaced it with a new one under the 3-year warranty on August 16th. So August 16th, he got the received the replacement. It was August 14th when it stopped running. So very quick turnaround time. That's good news. I got the replacement. Oh, August 16th is when he communicated with them, and he got the replacement the next day, August 17th. And put in the 64 gigabytes RAM in the NVMe. It booted successfully. I booted into an administrator, non-Microsoft user ID with BitLocker turned on. How and why did this happen? I never had this user account before. I was able to disable the administrator account and turn off BitLocker. How do I remove the administrator account? I love your videos and learn a lot from you. Please keep up the fantastic work. Sincerely, Steve Dodd. Thank you for the kind remarks, Steve. So here, booted into an administrator account. When I first read this, I was thinking, wait a minute, did you boot into I got the impression that it automatically booted into the username of administrator. An administrator account could be the name user, and it's an administrator account. I don't think that's what he's saying here. I think it was actually the account name of administrator with BitLocker turned on. And because he mentioned this, I'm assuming he knew that he did not have BitLocker turned on. Now, some pre-built computers that I get from HP or Dell come with BitLocker partially turned on. You have to sign into a Microsoft account to complete the activation of BitLocker. But that's not what happened here, because he bought this Nook as a bare bones computer, put in his own drive, and had to have installed a Windows 10 license that he purchased from somewhere. In that case, BitLocker should not be at all active. So how did this happen? I don't know. This is odd. I'm wondering if there's something in BIOS. Maybe there's some, since this is a replacement Nook, that was a year or so after he originally bought it. Remember, he originally bought November 1st, 2022, and this was August 2023 that he was going through this. So they did a warranty replacement. It might be an updated BIOS, maybe has different settings. Well, UEFI settings. Don't call it BIOS, Doug. It's not 2003 anymore. So I'm wondering if there's something in there but BitLocker is an operating system thing. It's not a UEFI setting. So I don't know how that happened. Now, the administrator account, you do not want to delete the administrator account. All Windows computers have administrator accounts, but they are typically hidden and disabled. To show that, let's see, where am I going to go to show that? Let's go to File Explorer. And then I'll just go into any folder and choose Properties, and then come to Security. And then here's some user groups. These are all groups. These are not user accounts. But if I go, for instance, to add permissions, let's see, is this the way I want to go do it? Now I want to go somewhere where I can add what do I want to do this? I know, let's do it with sharing. That's an easy way to do it, because I know where I can add there. If I go sharing and then advanced sharing and permissions. No, that's not where I want to do it. I went straight into the place that I wanted to do this the other day. Edit. Okay, add. Here, add. Yeah, here we go. If I say add administrator and then check names, it shows us that administrator is a valid username. This is not a group. This is a username. All Windows computers have an administrator user account, but you won't see it when you go look at a listing of user accounts, because it is hidden. You don't want to delete that account. Then let's see. Oh, Israel is saying start run LUS. Oh yeah, that's good. Thank you. Start run and LUSR.mgr.msc. This is a good place to go. Of course, you got to spell it right. Computers are supposed to be smart. Why doesn't it know what I meant to type? And then you can go to users here, and you'll find administrator here. It's a built-in account for administering the computer domain. If I right click on it and choose properties, we'll find here account is disabled. So we don't see it displayed in other places, but you do not want to delete that. The computer needs that. Keep up the fantastic work. Okay, so then I'm going to go to the chat room and see what responses we have on that subject before I move on to other topics. Pop out chat, make it big, and I'm just going to go look for comments on this subject near the end. Let's come up here. Replacement NUC is refurbished. Looks like we'll go right about in here. Replacement NUC is a refurbished computer, therefore it might have retained some of the settings from previous owner. There you go. NUC, NUC, or NUK. Whenever you install or set up Windows, the initial account is administrator account. Well, the initial account is an administrator account, but it is not the administrator username. Yep, Londog is referring to M.2 drive from his old NUC. Yeah, he moved the M.2 from his old one to the new one, so he should have the same configuration. That's Rand giving me that access. Zvik, command net user, CMD net user. So I think he's saying go to a command prompt, run as administrator probably, and then net space user. And this shows accounts, default account, guest rampage, the command completed successfully. That's not showing the administrator disabled account there. What was to be going after there? But I think it's something fishy. The fact that BitLocker was turned on, you can try to delete it all you want. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to. Londog, I'm not an expert in that BitLocker and its usage. When I tinkered with it many years ago, I found it to be dangerous. I only had to explore using that feature after somebody was locked out of their files. Yeah, ideally, there needs to be a person involved with the computer, maybe not the end user, that understands BitLocker and the consequences of it. Greg M., I replaced the rotational drive in a Dell with an NVMe, and BitLocker was partially activated. Dell computers come with BitLocker partially activated. Now, if you deactivated it already with a spinning drive and then replace that by cloning it to new drive, BitLocker should not be partially active. If you found BitLocker was partially activated on the NVMe drive, I suspect that it was partially activated on the spinning drive prior. Don't know that for sure. From Greg M. Londog, I know the basics how it works, but there are other things to consider. Maybe it does turn on something in BIOS, but I don't recall that. Yeah, I don't think so. But I don't know, I'm wondering if that might have had something to do with his issue. Either way, that's the first time I heard the term partially activated. I'd like to hear more about what that means. Now, I have shown that on some of my prior videos when I'm showing the setup of a new Dell computer from a client. I have shown that a few times and gone in to show where to turn it off. But Doug, consider this. I believe the security code for the BitLocker activation is on a chip on the machine. I forgot where it's stored, but it's not on the hard drive. I believe it's on a chip. Well, that's part of the whole, oh, come on, I'm forgetting the name of it. What is that? The whole thing that makes computers Windows 11 capable. You have to have that function built into the chip. And that's why he started the machine, went looking for BitLocker code. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe that refurbished computer that he got as a replacement, maybe it previously had BitLocker active. TPM, thank you, of course, TPM. Duh, such a Doug. Steve Dodd is here. Hello, Steve. Glad to have you here. Steve, were you watching from the beginning when I started talking about your issue? I don't know. If not, you can just rewind the video. So this means, Steve, I won't be going back to reply to your email. TPM secure boot. Steve Dodd, yes, he did watch from the beginning. That's great. Thank you. And thank you for sending that. To C in command net user administrator. To C in command prompt net user administrator. Okay. So let's see. I guess I closed that command prompt window. He's saying to see the administrator, the user, so net user administrator. And there we go. Yeah, administrator, built-in account. Account active, no. Account expires, never. Password last set, August 25th. Today, right now, the password for administrator on this computer was last set August 25th. A few seconds ago, less than a minute ago. Well, that's a lie. Zavi, do you got an explanation why this is saying password was last set less than a minute ago? That's weird. Thank you, Windows. Gee. All right, so I caught up with everything there. Now I'm going to move on to the next subject, which is comments on channel comments. Get to the right place here. I was messing around before starting the stream because I needed to go make sure everything was working. So I did a test video. So now this panel has changed over here on the right side. It's thinner. Comments. Let's get to comments. Channel comments down here at the bottom. The oldest comment, 23 hours ago from Dennis at 1:12. Microsoft, you sneaky people. Seconds being added on Windows 11 machines right now. So Dennis wants seconds showing down here in the clock as well. So there you go, Jim. That's two people you know that want to see seconds. He said yesterday, who cares? Just checked. Zoom virtual background works on this system for Dennis. No crashes. It's a Ryzen 7, no integrated graphics, in NVIDIA, yada, yada. I have other PCs. I can check this also, including a Ryzen 5. Somebody in chat yesterday said they were having crashes also. I think it was Alice said that when she turns on virtual background, she has crashes. Here's Ken 22 hours ago saying, I cannot do traders yet. Yeah, you have to have the 1,000 subscribers, I think it is, to do trailers. However, I have sort of kind of maybe something similar in my openings. Yeah, I've seen your openings, Ken. You could do similar to the trailers there. The difference is my trailers do not get replayed with the video. Therefore, I'm okay with doing copyrighted content. But what Ken does is he does an intro at the beginning of his videos. Sometimes it's like 3 minutes long, way too long in my opinion, just my opinion. And he makes changes from time to time in those, but those show up every time. So if he does any copyrighted content, then those videos will never be monetizable. Whereas if he doesn't do copyrighted content, then eventually when his channel gets monetized, he will earn money on those videos, or can. He'd have to go back and monetize them. Well, 95 let's see. I cannot do traders. However, I've sort of kind of the main thing, similar thing in my openings. Well, 95 opponents, well, 85 of, oh, that's when I was talking yesterday about we won our games, 3 games in a row, our last game of the season for Fortnite. Well, there are at least 4 of us, such a Doug. Good show as always. Looking forward to see you playing Texas Hold'em online. Yeah, like that's going to happen. Then the next comment, Speedy C. Hi, Doug. Following my last comment in live Windows training before you signed off, could it be connected to the motherboard? What he's referring to is the problems that I'm having with Zoom locking up Big Beast build. After upgrading to Windows 11, it takes a couple minutes before it locks the computer up. When I was on Windows 10, it locked it up immediately. He's saying, could the problem be with the gaming motherboard you have inside Big Beast? Yes, it could be. And although Alice probably doesn't have a gaming motherboard, and your new capture device and Zoom are not playing nicely together. Well, I think I limited that because I removed the capture card and its active software. Perhaps you could change out the motherboard at some point for a non-gaming motherboard, and it may work to solve the problem or not, just to see what happens. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am not going to go change that motherboard just to try to find a solution for this. I don't need that bad, that desperately to solve this problem. And I don't want to do virtual backgrounds in Zoom. The only reason I care about the fact that Zoom is a consistent problem is because I have other random lockups with this computer. You've seen it when I'm live streaming. Sometimes it'll just lock up, but nothing consistent, nothing reproducible. The Zoom symptom is reproducible. If I can fix the Zoom symptom, maybe that'll fix the other random lockups I have with Big Beast build, which always seem to be related to doing something video related. Meaning I've got live streaming going, or I'm playing a game, or I've got Zoom going. But no, I'm not going to change out a motherboard to try to troubleshoot. There's lots of other things I can do before that. Plus, it seems strange you're having webcam lockups once again. Now, the webcam lockups have been happening for quite a while, but it's very rare. And it's always this one camera. When my image freezes and the live stream is still going, I just go around and unplug it and plug it back in. I suspect the problem with that is this really long USB extension that's powered that is connecting this camera. It's very long. It's beyond the specifications for USB. You're not supposed to have them that long. So that's probably the problem there. I'm no hardware expert, just an idea. Sometimes it's surprising how things work fine the first time and not so the next time you go to use them sometimes. All right, next comment. Pineapple Road. And this one is longer. Let's see, is this the last? No. Nicholas says, thanks for adding me as a friend on Fortnite today. You are welcome, Nicholas Hooks. And he played with us today. First time he played with us today. Pineapple Road. Managed to get the troublesome laptop fully updated. Windows Update offered the upgrade to 22H2 before I got around to installing the 2306 update, so I installed 22H2, which installed without any errors, but something went a little wrong during the 22H2 upgrade. I discovered the laptop was no longer connected to the internet. Windows no longer recognized the Wi-Fi adapter and the built-in 4G modem, which I'm guessing are part of the same device on this laptop. Now, we've spoken about this issue that Pineapple Road is going through the last couple of days during the live stream. This is where he reverted the computer. It's a Windows on ARM. It's an ARM laptop from Samsung, and he reverted it to factory image, and he never told us why that was. That's okay. That was unrelated problem. And after putting the factory image in, he wasn't able to do Windows updates. And I told him to do incremental updates, go back to an older cumulative. So he's telling us that method worked. Fortunately, all I needed to do was go into Device Manager and find the unrecognized device and tell it to update the driver using Windows Update. And with how quickly it found the driver, I'm guessing the driver was already on the system. Yeah, because first I'll look on your computer for the driver. I had installed a driver update through Windows Update prior to fixing the Wi-Fi and a mandatory driver update just to see if that alone would bring the Wi-Fi back using a USB and Ethernet adapter. And once the Wi-Fi was working again, I discovered another annoying thing. The laptop had forgotten the Wi-Fi credentials. So I had to pull out my phone to reconnect it, as it is impossible for me to remember the Wi-Fi password. It is a mixture of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Now, Pineapple Road, if you were any kind of competent technician, you would be able to memorize a long string of mixed uppercase and lowercase and numbers and symbols and remember that indefinitely and be able to type it in when needed at a moment's notice. Really, Doug? Who are you looking at? Not me. Wow. Yeah, I will go change them to easier to remember so that I can go read the easy to remember long enough for me to type it in. But, those strange symbols and characters, I'm right there with you. Pineapple Road. Let's see, that's all the comments. And is Pineapple Road here? I don't think so. Let's go catch up with Chat. Now, was there anything else I needed to talk about? I think I covered everything. I don't have any tabs open. Ken Stout's premiere coming up at 9:30. You're not going to get an auto redirect to that. And that's why I put a link for his show up here. Now I pinned this comment from Ken Stout from last night, from 10:47 a.m. No, not 10:47. Oh, maybe that was 10:47 yesterday that he put that comment in. So I'm going to unpin that because he was the first comment. Yeah, it was 10:47 a.m. yesterday. It's only 9:25 right now. So here's Ken's premiere. I will pin that message, and I will also copy that link address and put it into chat again because that is starting in about 4 minutes. Ken's premiere. And I saw his show last night, and he said today's premiere was going to have some issue that he tested regarding to YouTube chat messages that he wants me to look at, or he said he was hoping that I would see and take up the ball on pursuing that subject. So I will have a look at that. I'm not sure I'll be watching live. Robert, hello. Frankie, work won't be able to watch the stream. William Dawson, hello. Ran Israel. Tim, yay, I'm first. No, you weren't first. TGIF. Greetings all. Richard Rogers, hello. Richard Rogers is you can see, if you're curious what he looks like, he is now showing up on Ken Stout's evening show with his camera on. So it's good to meet you, Richard. Rich, I think it goes by. John Williams, TGIF, yesterday gives a weather report. Richard, Jim, OCD, Doug, about the time, the seconds. Yeah, Doug, why do you care about starting this show right on second? It's a Doug thing. It's an OCD Doug. Yeah, it's punctual Doug. It's not military Doug. Now, I never did serve in the military, but you know, in military, if you arrive on time, that means you're late. Military, you're supposed to be there early. Otherwise, you're late. Well, that account was always there since it is the same NVMe drive out of the old computer. Thing is, he never noticed it before. Yes, that was the administrator account. Now, but it's curious to me that it sounds to me when he put in his existing NVMe drive in the replacement computer that it booted up, automatically went into the administrator account without any password, is what I'm reading between the lines. Maybe you could clarify that for us. Speedy C, hello. Replacement NUC is refurbished, therefore it may have retained the settings from the previous owner. Yeah, it may have retained the UEFI settings from the previous owner. Whenever you install or set up a Windows initial account, the initial account is an administrator. It's a member of the administrator group. It's an administrator account, but not the administrator account. He was using an M.2 drive from his old NUC. Let's see, I already read these. Let's get further. BitLocker, partially activated, TPM, secure boot. Yeah, secure boot. Now that's curious. I have not really got a handle on how that works. If secure boot was activated on the replacement computer before he received it, and he's installing a drive that was not on the computer when secure boot was turned on, will it boot? I think it will. I think what secure boot does is it prevents rootkit code from being inserted between the UEFI portion and whatever drive is in place. I think with secure boot on, you can swap out bootable drives. I don't know that. I don't really have that piece answered. Steve was answering yes to something earlier. Zavi clarified on that. BitLocker makes use of TPM that's embedded in the motherboard, so you don't need to unlock a BitLocker encrypted drive during boot. Okay. I was going to make a suggestion that BitLocker uses TPM chip. Look, yes, it does. Now, you can have BitLocker without a TPM chip, but it's a little different method to activating it. TPM stores the encryption information that BitLocker uses. when you have a TPM chip. If you don't have a TPM chip, then you have to have that encryption key stored somewhere that you know where to get it. Hello, Eileen Nalovac. Good to see you. Oh, it is time to send you off to Ken's show. Here's Ken's premiere. So you've got to click on that link to get to Ken's show. The redirect is going to send you to Carrie Holzman's show, which doesn't start for a few hours yet. Ken is starting now, so I am going to get out of here. Goodbye. Have a great day, Friday, everybody. Catch you later.